Jay Slater, the stolen watch, fact or fabrication? Let's talk about one of the most persistent theories surrounding Jay Slater's disappearance, the stolen watch. Some say it was a 12,000-pound Rolex. Others claim it was an Audemars Piguet AP watch. But what do we actually know, and what's just speculation? This theory has been circulating since day one, the idea that Jay was targeted or harmed because he had stolen an expensive watch. But as we break this down, things don't add up. The Snapchat and Debbie's doubts. So where did this claim even come from? The stolen watch theory is largely based on a Snapchat message that allegedly came from Jay. Debbie Duncan, Jay's mom, has confirmed she saw the image, but she's not convinced her son actually sent it. Here's what we know. There were two key Snapchats connected to this claim. The first showed Jay in a dark setting wearing sunglasses, with a caption mentioning an AP watch. The second showed a different man driving a car with a caption about a stolen Rolex. No watch is visible in either image. Now, let's stop and think about that for a second. If this was Jay bragging about stealing an expensive watch, wouldn't we expect to see it in his hand or on his wrist? Instead, we get a vague caption, an image of him that raises questions, and a completely separate video of someone else. Let's talk about the picture. Debbie herself questioned whether Jay was even conscious in the image. He was wearing sunglasses in the dark. Why? Was it to hide his eyes, or was someone else staging the picture? The person taking the image was likely taking a selfie, meaning the photo is a mirror image of reality. Because of this, the person taking the image would have actually been sitting on the opposite side of the car. If we compare this to Ayub Qasim's video, where he claimed to be driving, this suggests that Jay was likely sitting in the back, behind Rocky, who was in the front passenger seat. However, some have doubts that the person in the image is actually Jay. Debbie herself doesn't seem certain, and never explicitly states that it is him. This has led to speculation that the person in the picture could have been LK or TH, though these remain just theories with no concrete way to confirm them. What is interesting to note is that now we have seen Qasim's car video, which, along with the sound of Jay's voice, was provided to prove that Jay was at the Mosca Airbnb. If you look into the glasses in the Snapchat image, you can see a light blue glare in one of the lenses. I believe this to be the Cupra's ambient lighting, which can also be found in Ayub's car video. The other light is even more interesting. I believe this may be the lamp near the garage that appears in the car video, but reflected in Jay's glasses from the car's rearview mirror. If you look closely, you can also make out what appears to be the garage itself in the background. However, it's important to remember the multiple levels of reflection that are happening here. The selfie camera was used, so the image is already flipped. The sunglasses create another reflection, and the rearview mirror in the car adds yet another layer of reflection. This means that what we are seeing is not a straightforward image. It's a combination of reversed reflections that distort the exact layout of the scene. A final point to note, if this image is indeed a reflected image, then it would be the person's right arm holding the grab handle above the car window, while they take the photo with their left hand. This is significant because a watch is typically worn on the left wrist, yet we can't see that wrist in the photo. If the stolen watch caption was meant to suggest Jay had possession of one, then why wasn't it shown on his wrist? I believe that, due to the blue ambient lighting and the distinctive rear quarter glass of the car, this was a Cupra. You can also see the orange glow from the street lamp on the outside of the car through the window. That leads me to believe that the photo was taken at the Airbnb in Moscow. Now, think about this. What are the chances of getting the right car and finding a person who looks like Jay sitting in it? Was this a setup? This is where we have to start asking the big questions. If Jay didn't send the Snapchats, was someone else planting a false story before he disappeared? Was this a deliberate attempt to create a motive? And if he really did owe money, who did he owe, and why? There's another element to consider. This Snapchat message was sent to a group back in the UK. If Jay was in Tenerife, why would he be randomly posting this to people at home? Was it sent by mistake? Was someone else using his phone and sent it to the wrong group? Or was it meant to establish a false trail? If someone wanted to make it look like Jay was involved in something shady, this is exactly how they'd do it. Plant a suspicious image, throw in a stolen watch narrative, and suddenly there's a reason why people might think Jay was in danger. Final thoughts. Debbie doesn't believe the Snapchat looked right and has questioned whether it may have been staged. This raises a crucial point. If the stolen watch never existed, why was this narrative pushed? If there really was a stolen watch, could it have been the reason Jay went back to Masca with Ayub and Rocky? Could he have been returning there to sell it? But if this was all staged and never happened, then we have to ask, was the claim created to justify Jay going back to the Airbnb? If there was no stolen watch, was the Snapchat message crafted to make it seem like there was, either as an excuse for why Jay returned or out of fear of repercussions for a theft that never actually occurred? And here's another big question. If the Snapchat was fake or edited, what was the motivation? Why go through the effort of making it appear Jay had stolen a watch? If Jay's death was an accident, why would anyone need to create a false story around him? The image seems to match the car Ayub was driving, so who took it? When? And why? If everything about the stolen watch narrative was fabricated, what does that tell us? Was this about shifting blame, covering something up, or controlling the narrative? Because one thing is clear. This theory may have been created to explain something, but instead, it only raises more questions. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.